What's up, guys? Welcome back to Supreme Micah. So in this upload, what I want to talk about pretty much overall is the difference between high reps and low reps. And if you've been following me in some of my earlier content, I've been able to actually provide a lot of information in regards to performing high reps and low reps. But now I want to be able to focus on this exclusively, so I can give you more detail in regards to how you can adapt this into your fitness routine. Now, many people usually go to the gym, and one of the first things that they actually don't do is think of the amount of reps that they'll be doing once they're there. I think that for anyone who's just beginning, this is something that they have to learn, and usually as you go to the gym more frequently, you'll pick up on that you should start counting the amount of reps and also your weight at the same time. Now, I've also spoken about knowing what exactly your fitness goals are. If you're unsure if you want to be lean, cut, or you want to build some mass, you should know that, because you don't want to waste time in the gym going for things, doing things that isn't persistent or aligned with your overall goals. So that's one of the first things that you should understand. What are your fitness goals so that you know how to actually enter the gym and do what you need to do? For most people, I would say that their reps can range between 5 to 10, and that definitely depends on the amount of weight. Now, why is this all important? I want to go further into exactly what it is that makes people want to do 10 reps or anything that's lower than that, or even more. Okay, so depending on how heavy you're lifting, you need to keep your reps at a minimum. Put it like this for an example. If you're lifting your heaviest, and depending on what your goals are, what you'll want to do is have a minimum amount of reps in this scenario. Keep your reps low. Second, if you're lifting light, then what you would want to do is increase your reps. Generally speaking, depending on how light you're actually lifting, in this case, you may be doing more than 10 reps. Before I go forward, I want you to know that this all depends on whatever fitness goals you have. In regards to what you're attempting to achieve, this could likely be different, maybe slightly different in your own fitness plan. Now, to be able to actually explain this a lot better for whoever's watching this, take a look at this. In regards to someone who is strength training versus bodybuilding, and I've spoken about this in some of my previous uploads, okay? Strength trainers, and you can compare this to powerlifting, they tend to focus on lifting as heavy as possible. Okay, so they're not necessarily focused on the muscle necessarily enlarging and being more visible compared to that of a bodybuilder. So generally speaking, if you look at a bodybuilder, there is a chance that that bodybuilder may not actually be as strong as a powerlifter, because in regards to being able to focus on the muscle and having this more visible, it doesn't necessarily mean that you actually have to lift your heaviest. So a strength trainer or a power lifter, for an example, their reps will be generally low. And in this case, it can be a range. It may be a low 3 to a high 5 for them. Okay, so I've spoken about this before too, and this is hypertrophy. So this term is in regards to your muscles and how they grow. So in order for your muscles to grow, they need to actually break down. In this case, your muscle fibers, okay? So what happens is your muscle is fatigued as you exercise them. As you perform isolation exercises or compound exercises, what tends to happen if you're doing it correctly, your muscles should be fatigued. That's the point of being able to build larger muscles. And that's one of the processes in regards to that in a bigger or smaller picture. Now, the reasoning why I'm bringing up hypertrophy is because of the next topic that I want to get into. So research does suggest that actually, depending on the amount of reps that you're doing, the amount of weight that you're doing may not actually be that significant. Reasoning why is because of hypertrophy. So in this case, if you fatigue the muscle, that is generally the rule of thumb in regards to science, okay, and research. So what we're saying here, and this isn't me independently saying this, or this isn't me actually agreeing with this full-heartedly, but I want you to know that this is a research that was conducted, and in many cases, this could be true. And I'll put it like this, and I've mentioned this before. So when you are, let's say, first entering the gym, one of the first things that people tend to do is try to lift too heavy. And one of the reasonings behind that is because of the mentality that they'll be able to actually put on muscle mass quickly, and in many cases that can't be done. Overall, muscle is developed gradually over time by being able to rest and then being able to likely lift heavier. But I think this research that was conducted is slightly true, and in many cases it may actually be wrong. So it all depends on your goals, how much muscle you would like to gain. When you're in the gym, for an example, when you work out on your biceps actually can be fatigued fairly easy. Now, in regards to the muscles on your body, the smaller muscles tend to actually be fatigued the easiest. Now, in regards to lifting and targeting your bicep, your actual weight doesn't have to be overly dramatic and heavy. You can effectively grow your bicep, but with actual less lighter weight. Another reasoning why this research actually may be wrong too is in regards to your body, which is extremely amazing. So your body can adapt to exercises and even the amount of weight that you're performing. So you at some point will gain weight if you are doing light weight, and especially if you're following the rule of hypertrophy. So in this case, if you are fatiguing your muscles and you're performing a light weight, attempting to, let's say, have more visible muscles, for an example, then you will, over time, they will show, and depending on your reps, if they're high in this case, then you're going to likely get used to it. I'm using this as an example, someone who is skinny and they're just starting off and they want to be able to gain weight, okay? Them lifting those lighter weights and having high reps will affect them, especially if they're just starting, and this is a skinny person for an example. But at some point, your body will adapt to that and you're going to eventually have to actually start lifting heavier, and that's the rule of thumb. I think what happens is people try to look at a smaller picture rather than the bigger picture. I think a lot of these examples can be inserted and put in different scenarios. There's no yes or wrong answer, but it's definitely suggestions, it's definitely scientific evidence, and depending on how your body behaves over time in regards to what you're doing, it just might depend on the person too. So this is just something that you really want to think about. So remember, if you're in the gym and you do have lighter weights, okay, that hypertrophy, meaning the enlargement of your cells, specifically your muscles, that they in fact can grow. Now, depending on what your goals are, at some point this may have to actually be different, your exercise routine, meaning in some cases you will gradually have to increase this weight or perform different exercises. When your body starts to become adapted to the exercises and the weight that you're doing, you will no longer benefit that. In this case, you may say that you will likely increase your reps, which can benefit you, but then again, over time, this will then be adapted to in regards to your body. Your body will begin to adapt to this. My personal advice is to try different exercises. Don't always attempt to follow the same exercise routine. It needs to be changed and adapted to. This will allow your muscles to be tricked. This will allow them to grow. There's nothing wrong with doing lighter weights, depending on what your goals are. Personally, me, I love to lift heavier weights, and that's just something that I've been able to adapt to over time. And some people may not feel the same. But I also want you guys to know that I have a fitness video for you, given that we're in a quarantine and I'm still unable to actually hit the public gym, okay, that this is what I have for you, and I'm enjoying these exercises a lot. I think that they're keeping me fit, and I like being able to provide some exercise routines for people who are stuck at home and they can't go to their own gym. So I'm glad that anyone who's watching this enjoys this. Remember that I do have a Instagram page, Supreme Micah, so make sure that you go follow that page. Also make sure if you're watching this and you like my content and me, that you subscribe, you hit the thumbs up button, okay, and that you leave a comment. I really enjoy those comments. Guys, enjoy this fitness workout. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.